Good evening, everyone. I apologize for hobbling up here. I fell yesterday in the mess, and cracked my knee. So, my name is Jason Hyde. I'm from 36 Edgewater Drive in Hooks, New Hampshire. Thank you for your time, Chair and members of the board. I'm here to speak about the matter I believe you folks will be considering later. And I kind of want to frame it maybe a little differently than I did in my letter to you all. The way I like to frame it is this. Think of yourselves in the positions that you're in, whether it's at your employers, if you're part of a civic organization like this, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, HYAA, CYAA, I'm not sure what they call the Auburn one, AYAA, I'd imagine, anything like that. The youth athletic organizations, right? Put yourself into those positions. If you work for corporate America, a small company, whatever it might be, and think about what your reaction would be to a member of management speaking to a customer in the manner in which the superintendent spoke to me. Take the personalities out of it. Take all the little nuances and take all the noise, the static out of the background, and think about how you would react to that situation, how your management in your company would react to that situation. I haven't been in management nearly as long as a lot of folks, including the other person in question. But in my short time in management, I have learned that when you get to that level, you are expected to react to situations differently than folks who are not at that level. You are expected to behave at a higher level than the folks who are not in those positions. And I would submit to you all that when the head of an organization speaks to one of his customers in that manner, to not take it seriously, to not address it, and sanction it harshly, however you feel that must be, to let that go in any way, sets the precedent for the folks who work for him that it's okay to speak that way to people. Again, regardless of what the personalities are here, it's not okay for people in management to speak to their customers that way. Period. It's not good customer service. A. B. Person in leadership cannot speak to people that way because it lets his employees know a couple different things. One, he thinks it's all right. And if you don't hold him accountable, how can you hold anyone else accountable? Two, it can put fear into the employees that if they question his authority, if they challenge him in any way, that they might be treated that way. And that isn't right either. So I thank you for your time and your consideration. I'm here if you have any questions. I know you're going to non-public and all that, but I'm available if you have questions. I've given you my email and my phone number. Feel free to call me, email me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Anyone else?
Hi, Matthew Woodrow, 296 High Street in Candia. I am formerly an employee with the Hooksett School District. I think it's been about 3 months now since I've been off the job. A couple of things that I think are important to bring up, and one of the reasons that I wanted to come tonight is I just wanted to share with you my experience and how a lot of my time was spent as the Director of Technology. In the few years that I was with Hooksett, an enormous amount of time was spent dealing with, I would say, nonsensical issues and not the job that I was hired to do. One being several right-to-know requests, and in the field that I work in, they call that a direct denial of service. And what that means in the IT world is a company who doesn't like what another company is doing will begin to send spam out, and they keep spamming them and they keep spamming them till a point till that company is rendered they can't provide any service. And it's only done for the purpose so that they'll be distracted and their time will be spent doing something else other than what their job is. And the situation in Hooksett, there's a lot of that happening right now, and I think it's important that you guys understand that that's what the majority of people's time is being spent doing, is dealing with issues that have nothing to do with kids, nothing to do with educating kids. I'm thrilled that my kids are in the Candia School District right now, because I think there's an enormous amount of time spent educating children, and that's not happening. In Hooksett, the administrators are dealing with nonsense that's coming down from other levels. And I think it's important that that comes out tonight. I spent time with the superintendent on several occasions dealing with these right-to-know requests, hours and days and nights, sifting through piles of paper to deal with the right-to-know requests for the simple purpose to keep us busy and occupied on something else so that people's heads are spinning. It creates an environment of chaos and it creates confusion, and that's exactly what's happening. I'd be glad to share with you guys my email address if you have any questions, want to hear more about what the majority of time that I spent doing, but I think it's important that you get a glimpse into the environment, which I believe is a hostile environment in Hooksett. It's toxic right now, and something needs to be done. And I'm saying that having been on that side, because I think it's important that people understand that, just to keep that in perspective.
Chrissy Castor, Hooksett. I want to know if that customer put his hand on management. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, my name is Becky Burke. I'm a resident of Hooksett, and I would like to make a couple of observations here. Primarily, the comment about the superintendent's remark is, I think, on the whole, accurate in the sense that it's unacceptable. However, I think that there has been a tremendous amount of unacceptable behavior that has started with the Hooksett School Board and has been maintained and sustained by the Hooksett School Board. The Hooksett School Board is in my view right now completely dysfunctional. There's been an almost complete lack of leadership. And I think when you talk about any board setting a tone or administration setting the tone, it starts with the board. It always starts with the board. The superintendent is an employee of the SAU. The superintendent needs to respond and be responsive to concerns by the SAU and by each of the 3 individual districts. However, speaking from my own personal experience, I am incredibly thankful that the superintendent is still here. I'm not sure very many people would have had the fortitude to stay in the environment that he's been trying to work in. I'm thankful that he stepped up and stood out and stood forward to defend the Hooksett administrators, because the board did not. So, has there been unacceptable behavior? I would say yes. I think that's up to the SAU board as a whole to determine the context in which that behavior occurred, and I think it's absolutely up to the Hooksett board in particular to take full responsibility and change its own behavior tonight, not tomorrow, tonight, to take responsibility for the tone that it has set that has allowed a number of regrettable behaviors and instances to happen this year. Thank you.